we're going to be looking at this assignment here. We need to create class store, define some items in the class with certain prices, and write the method return exchange. So our method return exchange is going to take a double value as a cash payment for the item, and it's going to return the exchange for it. Feel free to choose any item price. Now, I've kind of interpreted this in a specific way, so we're going to go down and explain it. So first we're going to create our class store. We're going to hard code some variables because it says we can. We have private static double water through tuning 4, apple 195, and orange 753. So these can be used across all different classes. And then we have storage for our user input. We have our private static. This should possibly be just a private string pick. That would probably be better. And since it's a private string pick, what's going to happen is we are going to store this user input that we're going to get from here. So we can see that we have private string pick and our private double payment that are not initialized. We're going to initialize them in our constructor right here. This is our constructor for the method. Remember, for a constructor, it's going to be public and then our class name. We have public class store to make this. We're taking in these parameters, and then we're going to look at this when we do our main method, which is lower down here. So the main method is going to come after this. So we are assigning to this pick to the pick up here. This dot pick is equal to pick, and then this dot payment is equal to the payment. Remember, when we use the this, we're referring to here, and we just have like pick, we're referring to the one in here. And then we're going to call the return exchange. So we do this in here. Super efficient, so that we don't have to have so much in here. We only have to make this instance, and then everything is going to run for us automatically. Now, going back to our class, we have our return exchange here. In our return exchange, we have double exchange is equal to 0. So at first, we are going to initialize our exchange. And then after this, we are going to hard code these if-else statements, and we're going to see what the user inputs. If our pick, which will be the pick right here, if it equals to water, well, we want to subtract the double payment that's entered from water. So we're going to do the payment minus the water price. And then we're going to do the same thing for apple and orange. If we don't have a valid string input, we are just going to return an invalid response. And that's just a string to let the user know this. We could use a while loop and have the user keep entering things until they do a valid response, but that's just additional code. Next, and that can be implemented fairly easily. Next, we have checking to make sure the customer has enough payment. So we are going to be inside of here, and this isn't actually checking to make sure this has enough payment. What this is doing is actually formatting our string. So this, we're not checking to see if the customer has the correct payment until this if statement. We can see that in this if statement, if our exchange is less than 0, we are going to have a negative value. So if it's a negative value, what we're going to do is multiply it by -1, and we're going to say insufficient funds, we need this much more money to buy it. And here what we're doing is we're formatting. So we are going to use, and I've made a video on this, it's in the channel, we have our string.format where we use this to format our double, because if we don't format our double, it's going to be a super long value that we don't want. We are then going to store this into exchange. So we're going to not redeclare, but reinitialize exchange. We're going to assign another value to it is what I mean. We have to store it in a string because we need to use this string format, and then do double.parseDouble the answer. And this whole thing is just going to be passed back because it is a whole double. And then we check it in this if, and then if it's not, so if it's not less than 0, which is what we want, that means our payment is valid. So our payment is now going to equal to exchange. So that's whatever change we have left. And we have our main.setPayment, and this is going to be in our class main, where we have this payment that's going to be used throughout. I don't know if that's exactly necessary, but that's just some code I added. And then we have the sysout.println, where we have the purchase successful, and then it tells how much change is left. And then we have this main method, and we're going to demonstrate what this sysout, it's just super simple sysout statement, is going to do in a second. So we can go and run this code, and upon running this code, it's not going to run correctly because we're actually running something else. So we need to go to our main method, and we're going to press run main here because it was running a different main method that I have, and it tells us, it's asking us what would we like to purchase. We have water, we have apple, and we have orange. So what item would I like? I want an apple. And I also have a string to lowercase right here, so it'll convert it to a lowercase. If I added in all caps, it would totally be okay. We have how much are you paying? We'll just say if our apple's $1.95, let's just do $3. So the purchase is successful and we have our 105 returned, which is great. And now we can run this again and try something else. So let's say I want an orange, but I only have $5. Well, I have insufficient funds and I'm gonna need $2.53 more. And so that's how we would write this code. Super easy, super fun exercise to do.